I'm usually asked, when should you consider an exit strategy? And I always say, the moment you start your business. Because an exit strategy needs a lot of preparation, needs history, needs credibility, and needs convincing of the buyer or the investor that this is a business that I like, it's proven to work, and it'll continue to strive in the future.
I would generally agree. I think if you always run your business as if you might decide to sell it in the next couple of months, you will run it very differently than if you run it as if you're going to have it for the next 10 years. Running it with a mind towards exit, with the idea of exiting, means you run it more efficiently, more optimized, you're focused on profitability, you're focused on growth, and you're putting systems and processes in place that a buyer would appreciate and would allow someone else to take over and run for you. Now, that doesn't mean you have to sell it now or even in the next 10 years, but thinking about the business from an outside standpoint. And I wrote a newsletter on this recently. How do you know if your baby's ugly? Well, ask somebody who's going to buy your business what they think of your business, and you're going to hear a lot of more negative things than you might realize that you would, otherwise think were downsides to your business. If you're thinking about selling, you're thinking about outside value, you're thinking about how somebody might perceive it if they were going to take it over from you. It's a different way of looking at your business. It doesn't mean you have to change everything. It doesn't mean you have to cater to only what a buyer would want, but it does mean that thinking about an exit starts way before the day you decide you're just so burned out and so tired of your business that you're willing to get rid of it. Because if you do it that way, one, you may not find any buyers, or two, if you do, you're going to get a really low price for the business, versus if you plan ahead, plan for an exit, plan for maximizing that value, you can do much more, even with 6 months or 12 months of runway. If you really think about it from the very beginning that way, then you should always be prepared to sell the business if you decided to do that. It's just going to make the business overall a much better run business. And it also means you're not so tied up in your identity. You're not the business isn't you. If you're thinking about selling it, it means you could sell it, you could separate yourself from your business, and the business doesn't become your identity. I think in a lot of ways, when somebody's business is who they are, they no longer are making good decisions. They get defensive when customers get mad or say, hey, you should do this instead of that, or this didn't work out well. They get defensive, they take it personally, they feel like, hey, you're insulting me. Instead of thinking about, no, there is room for improvement in this business, it's just a business, they're not insulting me, they're just giving me suggestions on how my customers in general might appreciate doing business with me more, or might like the process better or something. So if you think about selling your business, it separates you from your business. It lets you think about how to maximize value and run things more efficiently and be more profitable. And those are all good things as far as I'm concerned. Those are all things you should be thinking about anyway. So if it takes putting it in that framework of thinking about an exit to get there, then that is a positive.